Here's the deal.
I think they're 10 games up.
Yeah.
9.5, yeah.
Damn it. They lost a half game. Shucks.
Here's the deal.
That was the Cincinnati Red series.
Here's the deal with a bold prediction. I have kind of a rule when I make a bold prediction. You can't just say stuff to say stuff and, oh, yeah, like this is the Detroit Red Wings are going to sign every free agent in the offseason and win the Stanley Cup next year.
Yeah.
You just can't say stupid stuff.
Yeah.
A bold prediction should be backed up by some sort of true gut feeling or some really good indicators that lead you to be in that spot, to have that position. I'll give you a for instance. A lot of people believed that I was absolutely crazy and the dumbest person on air when I said that Aiden Hutchinson, when it's all said and done, will have more Heisman votes than Kenneth Walker. And that ended up being true. Here's why I said that. Because if you just look at the grand scale of things, Michigan football is Michigan football. It is such a huge brand in that sport that Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, USC, you know, these teams mean more in the grand scheme of things than other teams do. And that's just a fact. I'm sorry if you disagree with it. I'm sorry, but if you do disagree with that, you're wrong. Okay? So you've got that. My feeling was that Michigan was going to have a really great year. My feeling was that Michigan was going to win the Big Ten championship and go to the playoff. If Michigan did that, what I expected them to do, their best player was going to be in New York on that stage for the Heisman Trophy Award. It was just by chance, it just so happened to be that their best player that particular year played defense. Their defense was the reason why they would, in my mind, win a Big Ten championship and ultimately make a playoff. So, Michigan wins a Big Ten championship, makes a playoff, best player up for the Heisman. Who's the best player? Aiden Hutchinson. That's the reasoning behind that. And you could agree with it or disagree with it at the time, but that's my line of thought. So we did this prior to baseball season. We all had bold predictions. Braylon Edwards says Javier Baez is going to hit 300 this year. And I kind of rolled my eyes, and I was like, this is a situation where Braylon is just saying stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and this is just one of those cases where he's just throwing something out there to generate a conversation. Braylon Edwards, I need to apologize to you. And even if Javi doesn't hit 300, even if we end up and he doesn't hit 300, I think you've already won that bold prediction. You've already won.
Yeah.
Right here and now, you've won that bold prediction. He is hitting 289. He's got 35 RBIs. He's got 12 doubles. He's got 9 home runs. You've already won that bold prediction. You just he very well could be the MVP of the team.
Yeah.
He could be. Everybody wanted Alex Bregman in the offseason. Javier Baez is that free agent signing in the offseason. That's what it feels like. That's
right, I like that.
That's the punch.
I think I said that yesterday.
That is the punch that he has packed in this lineup. Javier Baez. He could be the midseason MVP for this team. I don't think they're 20 games over 500 without him. He has played every position they've needed him to play. He's been a force at the plate, a dominant force at the plate. And you, my friend, are today's winner for bold prediction of the year.
I appreciate that. Look, man, it wasn't a Nostradamus moment, if you will. I just looked at it this way. When Sky Harris first came in, Scott Harris talked about Javier Baez. His first presser, Maz, if you remember, he brought up Javier Baez. He brought up the pitches he swung at. He brought up his relationship with Javier Baez. He called Javier Baez out when he first got the job. So, boom, mental note. Thing, too, last year, you start to pay attention to the locker room and the vibes. You know, I thought it was Javier Baez and his play that was kind of affecting the Tigers early on in the season. You find out he's this great locker room guy. He's this great guy. Great guy, great team guy. He's an older veteran for these guys. He's been around. He loves. Then you think about the marriage situation, how his mind was fractured, all these things. You start to think about life. And then the hip. Like, I don't know if you guys know about hip injuries. If you get hip injuries, usually your career is over. Like, usually if you get a hip injury that's serious enough, the career is over. But what do? Shorten the season last year. He plays 80 games. They have the surgery. What does Scott Harris do? Bring him back. He brings him back, and I just saw the interaction. You start watching spring ball a little bit. You start to see the swing changing. You start to see the love that he's getting from the team. You start to see the interaction before the season even starts. I'm like, I think Javi might get back to some good baseball. Now, look, I went over and above with the 300, but I had a feeling that he was going to play much better this year. I had a feeling that he was going to be a part of that locker room, and it's just rubbing off on each other. Like, everybody over there, I know you're going to get me for that one, but there you go, I appreciate it. But everybody in the bullpen, everybody in the locker room, everybody in that dugout, everybody is rubbing off on each other, and they're playing some great baseball. 9.5 games ahead, and Javier Baez is a part of that, man. He stayed the course, and sometimes it's more than what you see. Sometimes there's more there than just bad play. And sometimes it's something that hinders your bad play. I played with a couple of teammates that legitimately – I remember Joe Juravicius, man, in 2008.
He was a giant.
100%. Joe was 6'4.5", 6'5". Actually, Joe was a stout 6'5". He's about the same height as Calvin, if you will. Like, Joe can play. And Joe was methodical, and I saw him dropping passes and, you know, kind of running wrong routes and things of that nature. And I'm like, what is going on with Joe Juravicius? This is not the guy I know. This ain't the guy I watched at Penn State. This isn't the guy I watched win the Super Bowl with Tampa. Joe had a staph infection, and he had some other things in his mind. You find that out, you get to the heart of the problem, and you're like, oh, man, like there were other things going on that hindered his play. And I kind of think that's what it was with Javier Baez. And also, he's around A.J. Hinch. We keep talking about this coaching staff, A.J. Hinch, his road dogs, as well as Chris Fetter. Like, this is a great team. It's a great organization now. They put their arms around Javier Baez, and he's having like a Jared Goff moment. For lack of a better word, Jared Goff, when he came here, you know, we saw what we saw. What was it, man? His hands were too small.
Yep.
Oh, we saw he's a stopgap.
Fumbles.
He's a filler. He fumbles. He does this. You don't trust him when you're outside and it's cold outside, or you're on the road or in the big game. And slowly but surely, it goes away. And now he's come to the point where we trust him, even with no Ben Johnson. At least we believe so. And Frank Ragnar, I think that's where Javier Baez is trying to get to. I think he's trying to get to a space where, you know what? Forget what was said, forget what was. This is now what is. And Javier Baez has found himself again to the tune of 289, 9 home runs, and 12 doubles, like you said, Ryan.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to watch him. And he's really in the groove right now. I was at the game last night. He hit 3 hits last night, 3 out of 4, 2 home runs. And what did I say yesterday? I said, I think Javi's going to hit for the cycle. I just threw that out yesterday. When he gets a single, 2 straight homers, 1 off the top of the wall, which could have been at least a double or a triple. I'm happy he got the home runs, and you know, if he didn't hit the cycle, that's fine. The Tigers did enough to beat the Pirates, and you got to beat the Pirates. You must trash them. But this guy is a guy that the team loves. If you remember, when the Tigers were making their playoff run last year, he joined the team in Houston just to sit on the bench. He was with the guys.
Big deal.
Right? Isn't that something?
Major.
That's major. And you said it. He's part of the team.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there, and he sees them win now. This guy is a winning player. Played on a winning Cubs team. Played on a winning Mets team. And he played with the Tigers when they really weren't that good. They were pathetically bad. But now they have the right people leading them, and he is right there, and he is the MVP, one of them right now of the first half of the season. Just what you said. He has won them a few games on his own, and they are rolling, and they got to roll the Pirates. If tonight gets rained out, let's hope it does, because we might get